Howdy, partner. We're in the high desert, Scottsdale, Arizona. This is quite a place, people. If you're not familiar with Scottsdale, this is a hot climate. It actually reminds me a lot of Texas, but a whole lot hotter, frankly, and a whole lot drier. You know, this climate in the summertime can get up to 110 degrees in July. In winter times, you know, it's a 60 degrees in the winter, maybe a nighttime desert low of the 40s. But here's the thing that really got me. Check this out. 10.2 inches of annual rainfall, which is not much. And it all happens in the monsoon season or maybe a little bit in the winter. So this is a harsh climate. Built across America, Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's get going.
Build Across America, a Build original series, is brought to you by Arclin, Builder's First Source, Huber Engineered Woods, Pella, Truss, and Viewrail.
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, visiting Cullum Homes, a custom builder that really does fabulous work here. And this Viewrail staircase is under construction. These are temporary treads, but if you can envision with me some beautiful wood stained treads to match the wood flooring, a glass or steel or cable rail here on the side, that's what this is gonna look like. And I gotta tell you, working with Viewrail, they have some incredible designs, and this company is design build. So they told me they have 18 Viewrail projects in the pipeline, utilizing several, like 4 or 5 different types of Viewrail. Super, super interesting. Now, if you don't know Viewrail, this is a company based in Goshen, Indiana, where they make all these parts. They fabricate the steel that the stringers are made from. They fabricate the glass. They literally make the screws and the bolts in their factory as well, right in the heart of America. They do everything to get this assembled in the factory. Then they send you this entire staircase as a parts kit. Kind of think of like a Lego set, an erector set, so that your team can install it on the job site. Fabulous directions. They do a professional install as well. And don't forget, when you work with Viewrail as a builder, you're gonna get a concierge, you know, a project manager who's gonna walk you through the design, the engineering, all the way through the final install. This is a really cool company. We saw them at IBS this year, and I gotta tell you, some of their newer designs as well as some of their traditional stuff, absolutely fabulous. You can learn more at viewrail.com. Scottsdale, Arizona. This is exactly what I think of when I think of Scottsdale. Absolutely manicured, beautiful golf courses. Oh man, though, that sun. Whew, I better flip my collar. I'm glad I wore my sunscreen. No golf for us today, though. This is what we're doing next. We're gonna go check out Cullum Homes. Now, in Scottsdale, Cullum is a fixture. This company's been around for 40 years. Rod and his wife Kim started this company in 1985, and they are the powerhouse here. They are the go-to player. Now, we're on a second generation of builders and owners here, though. Their daughter Lindsay, who grew up in the business, is now at the helm, and she has a master's in architecture. And her powerhouse husband, who's co-president of the company, was in the military for 10 years, has a master's in business administration, and he's really the process and the finance guy. This is an incredible company. They have like 80-some employees. And this development here, right on the edge of the golf course, has like 50 of their houses in total when it's all complete. So with that being said, let's go to their model home and see if we can meet Lindsay. All right, guys, before we meet Lindsay, I thought I'd pop into a house under construction and get a lay of the land, what they're building here. First off, remember, desert climate, 10 inches or less of rain, a lot of forgiveness in a climate like this. We're not going to the same waterproofing detail extent. We don't need a rain screen in this climate. So standard OSB, standard house wrap works okay in this climate. Interesting to see a Simpson strong wall shear wall. That's a cool piece. There must be some shear needed here because we got these giant garage doors here and then we got a big opening. This house looks like it might have a huge car garage on the first floor. Interesting, when you look at the Cullum website, they've got lifts and garages and sports cars. And I was actually here like 15 years ago with my Builder 20 group and saw a fabulous ICF basement, ICF walls above grade. That it sounds like they use ICF sometimes. Standard 2x6 construction here. I love the signs. I love the safety. They gave me a hard hat. This is the sign of a really organized, older company that really takes that seriously. This is interesting though. Look at this. Big 2-story, maybe even 3-story family room. This looks like it's set up for a big staircase system. I wonder if they're using Viewrail flight on these houses. And this looks like an elevator pit. I'm curious. Lindsay told me that this house was somewhat similar to the model home in terms of like the foyer. So with that being said, let's go see if we can find Lindsay and let's go get a tour of their model home. I'll see you over there. Here you go, we're in the right spot. Cullum Homes. Oh, wow. Look at this model home foyer. Dang. 2 stories of glass, that beautiful sun coming in. They really take advantage of their, what is it, like 330 days of sunshine a year? And then we've got a glass elevator when you first come in. Looks like living space must be upstairs. So let's go see if we can find Lindsay. Lindsay!
Good to see you again, Matt.
Good to see you again. Man, what a beautiful model home.
Oh, thank you. Welcome to Phoenician.
I mean, the views, the glass, the light. This is incredible over here. No wonder your customers love this place.
Yeah, it's a great spot, and it's so convenient to everything in town.
Now, you're building all these houses in this neighborhood, right?
Yes.
All these single families are all yours?
Yep, we have 51 single-family lots in here. We've already sold 2 lot combinations on the golf course, so right now it'll end up being 48 homes?
Oh my gosh, dang. Yeah. And quite a few it look like under construction currently from your team, right?
Yeah, we pretty much have every phase of construction represented on this street right now.
That's amazing.
It's a really fun job site to be at.
That's a fun job site. Now, you guys are design build, right?
Yep.
And you started, your company's actually 40 years old. This is your 40th anniversary, which I think is so cool. This year marks my company's 20th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
I'm half as old as you guys. Just got out of my teen years, but you guys are real adults at 40 years old. That's pretty impressive. That is a long time for a building company.
Yeah, sure.
How do you guys utilize this model home? What does this look like for you guys?
So this model home is open 7 days a week, and it's sat by our sales team, but it also is an opportunity for us to showcase our details and our quality of construction.
Yeah.
So when we're in a sales meeting and we're talking about clean, quiet, and comfortable homes, we're talking about fine design details that are coming together in the right places. This model showcases that. So it's not just words. They can come see, touch, and feel and experience what we're talking about.
Furnished it beautifully too. This is amazing.
Thanks. And that's all in-house as well, all the furniture.
That's all in-house. So you guys are doing interiors and furnishings for most of your clients?
For pretty much every client we have.
I mean, talk about turnkey. I bet your clients love this. The thought of having a finished house, but not having to deal with a designer to figure out what am I going to do with furnishings. You're doing that in that sales process and getting this house to this stage that they could literally just move right into.
Yeah, all of our homeowners work with a 4-person project team in addition to the 80-something people that we have that support. Wow. So they have 2 project designers, architecture and interiors, a project manager, and a site superintendent that are with them from start of design to move in.
That's unbelievable.
So it really blends all the disciplines across all areas of the process.
And you're actually a licensed architect, right?
Yes,
so are you physically stamping all your plans?
Yeah, well, it's digital now.
Yeah.
So,
there's no wet stamp anymore.
There's no wet stamp anymore, but I do have one just so I can say I have it. But there are, my stamp's on all of the plans.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
We're going to get into your origin story and how your parents started the company, how you transitioned, you and your husband, Paul. We're going to talk about your construction team. But before we do that, I've got to ask you, I mean, this foyer, the elevator, the glass, this is a gorgeous house, and you're really taking advantage of the views, I suspect, by having the living space up here in the second floor. Tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so the way the street is set up, the homes on this side off the golf course had the opportunity to raise and elevate the living space, so we're actually seeing over and through the homes on the other side of the street.
Beautiful.
So the arrival space is on the lower level, and then on this upper level is where all the living can occur, and we're getting to that through this elevator behind you.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you have more than just retired folks, I'm guessing, in here.
Oh, yes.
Although certainly the elevator makes sense for somebody who's retired and thinking, hey, what happens if I'm aging in place in my house?
Exactly.
Right?
And the elevator is also really convenient for moving your luggage and your groceries from the lower level up to the main level. We have a lot of homeowners that'll keep a cart in the elevator.
Is that right?
They dump their grocery bags in there, send it to the second floor, walk up the stairs, and then come grab their groceries out of the elevator. Makes a lot of sense.
And this elevator is pretty too. I mean, you see right through it. The light goes right through it. Doesn't block your space. I really like it. What is this? What are we looking at?
This is the ViewLift octagon elevator with the glass exterior. It's really meant to be a retrofit elevator, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
It's something we noticed at the build show, and I love how it helps the space stay really open, airy. It doesn't create any light blockage in this beautiful foyer space. And it's also a really cool feature with the floating staircase behind it.
Yeah, for sure. So retrofit, meaning no elevator pit below. I noticed there's just like a couple inch recess, which means the mechanism to do it is all at the top. It's like a 1 foot topper or so that everything's kind of hidden in. That's kind of neat.
Exactly. So we actually do a little pit for it because we're doing it in new construction.
Right.
But if it was retroed in, it would ramp up.
Oh, okay. Got it. That makes sense. Well, that was smart to make it flush when you enter in.
Yeah.
This is really pretty. Let's go see a little bit more of the house. We'll meet you guys upstairs.
All right, Matt, we're here on the 3rd floor in the primary suite. But this room has a really cool surprise in the bathroom.
It's a pretty room already. I like it.
I know. I bet you've never seen this before.
Okay, so what are we... Oh my gosh, look at this tub, Lindsay. This is unbelievable.
This is the Kohler Stillness Infinity tub. The water overflows on all 4 sides into the moat at the bottom. Integrated lighting. The tower on the back doesn't fill the tub, fills from the bottom.
Okay.
And maintains temperature, but that tower will hold 3 different scents of essential oils. And this tub will take you on a bath journey.
Oh my gosh. And it keeps it warm probably too.
It keeps it warm, maintaining temperature.
And the spill over the edge with this light is beautiful. It almost looks like a fire, sort of.
Exactly.
The way the water kind of shimmers with that light.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Very relaxing, Japanese style soaking tub.
I suspect that your construction team, though, had a few details to work on this. This is not an easy install, right?
Well, it didn't help that this was a late addition.
Is that right?
Kohler featured this in their booth at the Builder Show 2 years ago.
Ah, that's where you saw it at IBS.
And we had already framed the house and roughed it in and came back and said, we got to put this tub in. It's a showstopper. We want to feature it. So this is a framed floor because we are on the 3rd floor of this home. There's a bedroom beneath us. And we sort of girdered this in here to make the basin for the tub.
Oh my gosh.
Make it happen for the model home.
But everything is kind of from Kohler, I'm guessing, right? So like this trough is actually a part of the tub.
Yeah,
it's all
kit.
connected.
It comes in multiple pieces. So 2 big crates, the tub and the moat, and then the tower comes separate.
Yeah.
But it's all meant to be installed together, and then the brains of it sort of live in this wall that's accessed through the water closet.
The moat, I like that. That's cool. No, I've never put a moat into a house before. This is a pretty awesome moat.
There you go. This was the first one of these tubs ever installed in not a trade show booth.
Wow.
So thankfully we have a great partnership with Kohler, and they helped guide us through.
I think it's fascinating that you guys have been design build for so long, and you're so flexible that, you know, a house under construction at this stage, you and your design team, I know Dan also is part of the architecture team, said this would be amazing on this particular house. It's never been done before. You're able to go over to Preston on your construction team and go, hey, can we make this happen? And having that all in-house, that's a really big deal. It allows you to be flexible, to be really, in some cases, maybe avant-garde, right? Or different. Like this bathroom is amazing and has details I've never seen before, and it looks fabulous and super well integrated. I love it.
The benefit of the design build, at least in our company, is there's so much mutual respect between construction and design. And when we come to the construction team with a suggestion and idea like this, they're on board with it. We're not just shoving it in, oh, this is what we're doing. It's hey, we have this cool opportunity to be the first.
Can we make this work?
Can we make it work?
Yeah.
And it's a problem-solving mission that we go on together. And every detail is like that.
That's really cool.
And it always comes out better when you have both sides
That's really
coming
cool.
at a problem together. It's great.
Now, this is a side note here, but I really like this dark glass. I've never seen this before.
I know.
Is this like a smoked glass,
It is
or what are we seeing?
smoked glass here.
So it's not a film. This is actually like through body color, so to speak.
Smoked glass. It really went better with the gray tones in this bathroom, the black plumbing fixtures.
Yeah, this black plumbing from Pella is pretty, isn't it?
Yep.
And you've got the linear drain in there too that integrates with the tile. I mean, this is a beautiful shower.
And the wall-to-wall niche, so it doesn't really interrupt the tile pattern. It's a bit of a more modern look there.
I really like it. I do wonder though, will it show? I guess you haven't lived with it, but I wonder if this would show water spots more or less.
We do have hard water here in Arizona.
You do,
and typically install water
So you
softener
put a
on
softener
all
on.
the homes.
Yeah.
And then we put almost like a Rain-X type film.
Oh, really?
On the glass. So
Straight from the manufacturer, or you guys do that?
No, it's an add-on afterwards.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
even when we're doing clear glass, we will add that because
That's really
it
smart.
makes the cleaning just a little bit easier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I should go home and Rain-X
Yeah,
mine
there
after
you go.
shower too. That's a great idea. Good tip.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Let's keep going on the tour.
Okay.
Lindsay, I love the design in this house. It's interesting. I think of myself as a traditional guy, even though I personally build a lot of contemporary. And this house has a lot of contemporary details, but it doesn't feel cold or what I would call modern. You know, like look at the reglet base detail you did, or even this really subtle ceiling detail. I love this. Can you talk to that at all?
We like our homes to feel like somebody lives there, right? And especially after COVID, people want to be at home in their homes. It's no longer, oh, I want what's on a magazine cover.
Right.
I want to just have something I show people, but I don't really spend time here. And that allows us to do these fine, really craftsman style details and then partner it with softer finishes so it feels like a home.
Yeah.
And this reglet detail is our standard. I love it.
Is that right? You do this a lot?
We do this in every home.
Is this just like a metal reglet that's
Yep.
giving you a gap between your 5/8 drywall and the floor by an inch or so?
Yep. So we just install it up to the slab, and then the wood flooring goes in after the reglet's already been installed. So you get that nice, clean, finished detail. The challenge, you kind of have to laser it, right, to make sure you have the same reveal throughout the room. 'Cause it's more important that the reveal depth stay the same than the reveal actually be level.
Do you know who is doing that? Is that
It's our drywall contractor.
It's the drywall contractor. Okay, so
Yep.
he or she is actually pulling the laser out, installing that reglet, and making sure it's correct in the room. That's fascinating.
And then we put the floor right up after it. And typically we're painting that reglet detail the same color as the doors. So it looks as if the doors are kind of floating in the room.
Oh, I like that a lot.
And the detail on the ceiling is super simple. All it is an extra layer of drywall on the
Is that
perimeter.
right? So you didn't have to change the framing. That's not a tray ceiling the framer put in.
Just an extra piece.
It's subtle and I love it. I bet that is super inexpensive in terms of the cost of construction, but it really gives a nice detail. And I'm seeing that in a couple rooms in the house. I really like that.
Yeah, it's a really easy detail to execute, and it adds just enough without having to change the framing and do a soffit, and then you have to light it, and a lot of added cost.
I got to give you a compliment that I've gotten before that I really am proud of saying, and you should be as well. This house is really crisp. Your level 5 finish, your paint, you can tell that you've used good trades. I suspect your trades partners have been with you a long time.
Yep.
This is probably not the first time this drywall contractor or painter's worked for a Cullum Homes project. You're probably not 3-bidding every project to see who can give me the cheapest price on whatever. I walk through here and I go, man, this is really nice. Like as if, for example, these windows in the back here, if I look at these windows, you know, from a distance, you would notice if anything was off because you've got a black and white transition. And that's hard to pull off if you don't have good trades.
Yes. Our trade partners are critical to our business. They've been, like you said, so many of them have been with us for a really long time. And that relationship is everything to our success. We celebrate our trades. We work with our trades directly. We do multi-source for every phase of construction and every trade partner.
You may not just have one drywall guy or one painter or one electrician.
But we want their business to work with our business. It's not a race to the bottom. It's really that long-term relationship that's so valuable. And this is the result of that.
Yeah, and you're an interesting size, Lindsay. Like, I think as we were talking before the video started, you guys do around, 15 to 20 homes-ish a year, all on this kind of scale and scope. and size. You do some bigger, more expensive, some maybe a little less expensive, but that's an interesting scale. I kind of feel like I'm here learning from these guys because I'm a first generation builder. You're a second generation builder. It's so fun to hear your stories of kind of growing up in the business and maybe not as a 10-year-old thinking you want to be a builder, but then later in life realizing, hey, I really like this. I'm really good at this. I wonder if other people watching this video have grown up with a mom or dad as a builder and maybe not thought about that. Can you speak to that kind of aha moment that you had as a younger, I guess you were maybe in your 20s when you kind of realized, hey, I'd really like to do this. What was that like for you?
Sure. I had gone off to college thinking I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be the orthopedic surgeon for the Olympic team. That was my that was my very specific life plan. But I'd always been around the job sites, and I swept out the jobs in the summers when I was off of school, and I worked in the office filing paperwork, and I helped with the design team and drew things. And you go away, and I realized it wasn't really a hobby. That was what I was meant to do. It's what I loved to do.
What you're really good at.
What I was very good at doing.
Yeah.
And I had wonderful teachers and our team members, some of whom are still with us that I've known since I was a kid.
Yep.
From my parents, of course. So just kind of changed my trajectory. And, now the biggest thing about transitioning from one generation to the other is figuring out how to make the company work for the second generation at a different phase of life.
Sure. And you're a different personality than your parents,
exactly.
too.
Different
and you and your
strengths.
husband probably run things differently than they did.
Mm-hmm. So that was our biggest over the last 5 years. Like, I just want this to be a very gentle transition.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to really notice when things turned over, that it just sort of happened.
When Rob and Kim are no longer visiting the job sites or part of the business at all.
It wasn't on this day everything will be different. Right. It just sort of naturally occurs.
That's great advice.
And that's the best way to do it. But my recommendation for first generation is know that the second generation is going to have to do things differently.
Sure. Yeah,
and support them in trying to discover what those things are.
Sure.
Sharing your pitfalls, but also letting them learn and experience those challenges for themselves and how they can go about. It's kind of like parenting, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Get some advice from your parents on that, but it's still your own style.
Yeah, it's still your own style. And the second generation, just honoring what the first generation has learned and is trying to share with you. And then taking that, knowing you don't have to do it the same way they did, but translating it so that it works for how you live and how you want to operate the company.
That's really good. Yeah. Another thing that I think is really interesting about you in particular is whenever I meet second generation builders, Jake Burton, who shoots videos for us, Stephanie Daly, they grew up in the business with moms and dads that were builders. I didn't. And so I had to learn a lot of things on my own, not having grown up in the business, not having done a trade, or been on job sites as a teenager. There's something about you and those other builders that you're 10 years wiser than you should be, than your age, right? Yeah. I feel like you're definitely 10 years younger than I am, but I feel like we're on par with our experience and our knowledge. And I think that's true of a lot of second generation builders. So if you're a mom or dad out there that's a builder, make sure you bring your kids to the job site. Let them experience what you do for a living. They may not be interested as a teenager, but maybe later in life, they may realize, hey, I really love this. There's something satisfying about this.
Yeah, it wasn't forced on me. This is what you're going to do, and you're going to take over my business. It was, what do you want to do? And oh, by the way, why don't you come help sweep out a job site, or come to this event, or why don't you draw this house? Like, I feel like maybe they were playing me the whole time. Now that we're having this conversation,
they might have been playing you.
This was the plan all along.
I love it. Lindsay, I'd love to get a tour of the neighborhood, see the sites. Maybe you can kind of tell me where we are in terms of all these beautiful mountains. How about we jump in the car?
Sounds great. Let's go.
All right.
I was basically born into this business. My parents started the company about 10 months before I was born. And, they just saw a way to do things differently from a build perspective, and wanted to integrate design and construction. My dad, as a realtor, he was talking people into buying land by describing the vision of what they could build on that site, and then taking that, earning a commission on the sale of the land, and giving that job to another builder. And he said to himself, I can do this. So with no construction experience, he started a home building company where he was in the field and mom was in the office, and it was 2 people. And now we're 80 something people, and it's a whole different deal. So it's really cool to see the progress. But I grew up around it. You know, we hired our first employee in the mid-90s, and he just recently retired after nearly 30 years with us. And a lot of the people on our team are kind of like my aunts and uncles, kind of feels like sometimes. So it's been fun to grow up around it. You know, when I was a kid, I'd sweep out job sites and help in the office and, you know, help on the design team drafting or drawing things for different projects. And I loved it, but I thought of it as a hobby. It's just something I do because this is what my family does, you know, kind of that sort of a deal. And, then I went off to college thinking I was going to be a doctor, and just missed the construction, missed the teams, the people that I got to work with, and the complex problems that we solve every day. So I knew I wanted to be an architect, and I stayed with economics, studied that in undergrad, then went on to get my master's in architecture and worked my way up through the design team of our company, and then now act as the co-president with Paul. If you haven't been to Arizona before, you're missing out. Because there's something really beautiful about the desert, just how it lives and how it feels and how it smells when it rains. It's gorgeous in a different way than most of the rest of the country, especially here in the Paradise Valley, Scottsdale area, greater Phoenix metropolitan area, where it's a lot of flat land and there's mountains in town, like the one we're driving to or the one the Phoenician is next to, Camelback Mountain. There's so many places where you have this distant mountain view, and then the mountains layer back. So the ones closest to you will look brown, and then as they move further away, they go to blue and purple. So it's just a very unique landscape that you don't find in a lot of other places. All right, Matt, I want to welcome you to the most complicated project we have ever taken on as a company. We are on a historic site. The original design for this home was done for a family by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Are you serious?
It's the last thing he designed before he passed away.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
And Taliesin West is in town too,
Yes,
right?
yeah, you can actually see it from the site
really?
right behind you.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of history of this site, a lot of town angst and precedents, and what are we going to do here that we've been working through over the last 5 years already.
Oh my gosh, you're 5 years in.
We are 5 years in. We broke ground about a year ago, and we're about to the completion of the dig, so we can now start the build.
Wow, that's really fun. Can we go get a tour?
Sure, yeah. I wanted to introduce you to Paul, co-president of the company,
man, how's it going?
and my husband.
Yeah, great to meet you.
And I think he can take you up to the site.
That sounds great.
Check it out.
Thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate
Thanks.
it. Paul, so
Awesome to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me out to the site.
Well, we're excited to give you a tour here. This is definitely the most complicated one that we've ever done by far.
Oh my gosh, look at this view.
So what's interesting about this site is, if you look up here, back in the 50s, a developer came through, knocked the whole top of the mountain off. And that was where Frank Lloyd Wright designed the original building.
Wow.
But since then, since the town of Paradise Valley, which is the town we're in right now, when they incorporated it, they forbid building on top of the mountain. So there's a lot of ridgeline restrictions.
Gotcha.
And so that moved the building site down here. And so what's interesting here is if you look down, the town of Paradise Valley required that safety netting because it is about a 70-degree slope here.
Yeah.
So preventing any kind of rocks falling, hitting any houses right
Sure.
there. And we take safety pretty seriously here. And
So you had to probably ram those I-beams into the rock and then add that netting, I guess, huh?
we did. We had to use a helicopter to get those I-beams on because of the slope. So we had a helicopter for about half a day ramming those I-beams in, and then we set up the safety netting. So first time we've ever used a helicopter in construction. It was pretty fun.
And man, I can't get over this view. We said it already, but I mean, this is absolutely fabulous. No wonder your clients love this property. And even with some of the hassle factor involved and frankly, the costs involved, I mean, this is just a lifetime project like this. You've been in business 40 years, the most complicated build ever.
For sure.
That totally makes sense.
You imagine waking up to this every morning, seeing a full view of Camelback Mountain, downtown Phoenix, city lights. It's just an amazing view.
That's really cool. Paul, I don't know if I've told you, but my company's half the age of yours. I've only been in business 20 years. I've got some younger kids that I'm hoping might take over my company someday. And, I'm kind of thinking about myself as I'm putting myself in Rod and Kim's shoes someday. What if my son-in-law, who has, by the way, Paul has an MBA, served 10 years in the Navy, was a nuclear engineer. You're not the dumb son-in-law who was, in the trades and married his beautiful daughter. You've got a lot of chops on your own. I'm curious from your perspective, and I hope you don't mind me asking this, was it hard for you when you started working in the company to see things that you thought, I think we could do this process a little differently, or what if we did this reporting in the office, or those kinds of things? Was that hard for you to kind of speak up and be a part of a family business? So you've been here a long time, so you have to kind of rethink back in your memory. This is helping me out in my future transition.
It was an interesting transition for me because based on my background in the Navy and corporate world, I was used to the Navy. I'd go away for 6 months at a time, come back, and now me and Lindsay carpool to work sometimes.
Is that
together,
right?
So
that's so cool.
It's fun,
man.
and was I hesitant a little bit at first? Yeah, but I love it. I mean, it's been an amazing opportunity, and from a process standpoint, that's a lot of my background in the Navy, corporate, and coming into the company and trying to see, hey, how can we? You don't want to come in and just change everything at once, right? How do you slowly make improvements to get a process in place and get the team kind of organized around it? And so one thing that's really helped me and Lindsay is we've defined our swim lanes in the company. So Lindsay's a lot more on the client engagement, of course the architecture, design, furnishings, marketing, and I'm more on the construction ops, finance, future land development. So defining those swim lanes has really helped us manage the company together, and then we come together in the sales meetings, which is kind of cool. So we both meet with potential clients and both make that decision together.
And what a fabulous pairing. I mean, you've got a master's in business administration, she's got a master's in architecture. What a perfect co-president pair to run a big construction company. That's really cool. And it's also interesting how you guys do land development, that you're selling the full total package. You're selling the lot, the construction, the design, the interiors, the furnishings, this whole turnkey, make it easy on the clients. I could see that being a fabulous win for you guys compared to, let's say, somebody like me who's, hey, go find an architect and then come back and talk to me, and then go find an interior designer and then go take care of your furnishings. All these kind of separate entities have to come together and work together as a team, but you guys having it all in-house, that's a really big deal.
Yeah, and that's part of us kind of providing that finest home building experience, is it's a one-stop shop for everything. And that's been Rod and Kim as the founder, their vision for a while, is just how do we get everything in-house as a seamless process for the client. And I think that's allowed me and Lindsay with that vision to kind of take that and create processes and develop that and grow it with that overarching motto.
Love it.
Yeah. I think with that, we've kind of grown from doing 8 to 10 homes a year. Now we're doing about 24 a year. And so as we've continued to grow from about 40 people to 88 employees, we just have an amazing team, but we still keep that small family business culture, which I think is pretty unique for us.
Yeah, I've worked for a corporate builder before. I know a lot of people have, and it's different working for a family-owned company. You make really family smart decisions. You're not worried about shareholder value, that sort of thing. I think one of the reasons why you guys have such a fabulous reputation, you've been in business so long, is you care about your employees. You've had trade partners for so long. You do a fabulous job, and it's really fun to see these guys, that next generation, taking it even to a higher level. That's really exciting for me.
And what's fun is even some of our trades, they're going through a similar transition.
Is that right?
Right, so we're working, their dad who worked with Rod and Kim over the years, and now it's their son or daughter taking over.
So cool.
So maintaining that relationship on just some really amazing trades that help us create these awesome homes.
Yeah, so good. Hey, thank you for your service, brother. I really appreciate your time in the Navy. That's what makes our country awesome. I would like to get out to some houses under construction, though.
Yeah.
Do you think you could introduce me to, is it Preston, who's your VP of construction?
Yep. Yeah, so I'll introduce you to Preston, our VP of construction. So he oversees all of our new construction builds here. He's got about 30 homes under construction right now.
Fabulous.
And it's done an amazing job running the construction side.
All right, guys, let's go find Preston and walk some job sites. Awesome. Always my nerdy favorite time of the video. I'll see you there. Oh my. This is why we need a hard hat on a Cullum's home job. That golf course is literally right behind me. Now we faked this, but funny enough, this ball literally did land about 20 feet from me right before we started filming. This is pretty wild. Preston, what's it like building in the desert, and of course the also issues of building with a golf course right behind you?
Yeah, well, welcome, Matt. Good to have you. Obviously,
presents a whole bunch of other challenges,
Yeah, it
let alone
does.
just construction.
And you can ding a metal fascia or an EFIS stucco facade with this too, can't you?
Unfortunately, much too easily, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
can
it's
see that.
constant repairs and maintenance to keep up on that kind of stuff. So
For sure.
yeah.
So talk to me about Arizona construction. You know, I'm guessing that not a lot of in-ground foundations probably, because we're pretty rocky here, right?
Correct. Yep.
But in this case, we've got a front-load garage from the street. This is probably is this just retainage then that we're seeing here?
It is, yeah. So this is a unique community where we have more of a drive-in type, setup.
Yep.
Usually, yeah, we're not doing much retaining. Like you said, it's so hard. But here is actually all fill. So this was already cut in a way that basically we're almost just building the wall and then filling around it.
Gotcha.
And then going vertical from there.
Okay.
But yeah, much like other areas, we don't have to do that. There's no frost line here, and so it's it's almost it's an expense to go deep.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
it's more of an aesthetic thing.
So most houses are probably slab on grade, just like Texas, I would suspect.
Yeah.
Are you ever putting basements in though?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it depends on how people want to live.
Yeah.
I think you were here about 10, 15 years ago.
I was about 15 years ago. Crazy enough, I got to see an open house that you guys were doing with I think it was my Builder 20 group. And you guys had a crazy, if I remember, ICF foundation with a car lift in the house. So you could pull into the garage and the car could go down to the basement and be like on the other side of this glass wall with like a bar and a party area.
Exactly.
Is that a signature for Cullum? When I look at your website, it seems like you guys have done that more than once.
We've done it more than once. Yeah, it definitely sets us apart. So
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How about we go see these 1 or 2 under construction? Looks like you're in the framing stage here. And then if I'm seeing this correctly, it looks like the blow truck is here and maybe you're blowing in some insulation on this job.
For sure. Let's
All right,
check it out.
let's go see the insulated house. Oh man, I love a good house in the insulation stage. We get to see the mechanicals.
Mm-hmm.
So give us the tour here, Preston. What are we looking at?
Yeah. So here it's all 2x6 construction.
Mm-hmm.
We do open cell foam on all the exterior walls.
Okay.
Here on this lid, this is livable above, so we do foam as well, just to help stiffen that floor system.
That's really smart. And is it pretty typical to see floor trusses in your houses as well?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we got a mixture of floor and deck depending on what's going on here, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. And open cell foam, total fill in here. You mind if we walk inside?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, look at that panel box. Holy cow. Is that like a 400 amp service or what are we looking at?
These
over
are
there?
all mostly 6s. Yep.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
600 amp?
Yeah.
How big is this house?
This one's probably about 4,000 feet.
Dang, that is a lot of power going in here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we do, tankless water heaters. So they draw big.
Electric tankless.
Yeah, electric tankless.
Dang.
So yeah,
That's a lot of amps. And are you
It
putting
is.
car chargers in typically?
yeah, exactly. So there's a car charger, doubles as kind of a catering thing as well. So
Wow.
yeah.
And I just noticed, I'm sorry, free online, so you brought a mini split in the garage too.
Yeah.
I suspect that's typical in this
Exactly.
climate.
Yep. Even though you insulate it, right? You bring a hot car and it's going to keep it hot in here. So yeah, we're generally conditioning the garage too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I expected to see, a more normal quote unquote elevator going in. This house doesn't have the same as like the model that we saw earlier.
Correct. Yeah, this is a traditional cab style here.
Yeah, more typical.
Yeah.
I'm curious, that elevator that we saw, I think it was the View?
Yep, view lift.
What's the rough range on those? That can't be an inexpensive elevator, is it?
No, it's upwards of 6 figures.
Is it really?
Yeah, it depends on how many stories you got to go.
And was that glass in that elevator that I saw?
That one was actually acrylic.
Okay.
Yep, so they do make a glass option as well.
Which just adds to the cost, I
It does,
suspect.
Yeah.
But when does that go in under construction? Because it looks like it's pretty finished. So
Yeah.
I wonder if you put that in early or if that's a like end of construction thing.
It's very much towards the end, which actually they are kind of set up for like a remodel application, which works out well for us. And so we put it in at the end. It's built well that you don't have to do much figuring around.
Yeah.
You can even do them without a pit. So yeah, it offers a lot of flexibility.
So that's really the one of the final things to go in before you get your final inspections, I bet.
Yeah, it's just
And this has a more traditional pit where you're sunken in by a foot, and this is a more kind of traditional. I bet most of your houses have some kind of elevator though, is that true?
Yeah, all these actually, in this community, this side of the street, they come standard with elevators. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool, let's keep going up, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love seeing it at this stage. We can see the mechanicals, we can see all the HVAC systems. So talk to me about your HVAC systems. What are you typically doing here for your houses in Scottsdale?
Yeah, so I think what we do much different than most builders probably. We do VRF.
Is that right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I know it's more popular in a commercial space, but yeah, we're really big on zoned AC and ultimate control within each area. And we've done traditional split systems with zoning, zoning dampers and whatnot. But we found, especially with some of the architecture with low profile, small trussing and whatever, just you don't have the space to run big trunk lines.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Yeah, kind of doing more of a.
So your trunk line snaking here through the trusses. That's pretty typical for us in Texas too.
Yeah.
These look like maybe 18-inch deep trusses, which gives you enough room. But anytime I can get a slightly bigger, even a 20 or 24, I like it because I can get more space in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you got a bunch of can lights. You guys are design build. Are you integrating the lighting design with the engineering to try and get the spacing correct on all those ahead of time?
Yeah, so that's one of the beauties of doing your own drawings, right? So you can control all the aesthetics with the function, and so getting everything to line up. And as far as the design and engineering, yeah, it's all load calced in advance, and yeah, it makes for a much cleaner process.
That's fabulous. Let's keep going. Or actually, before we go up, let's go out on this this deck right here. I'm curious to see, one of the things that always kind of freaks me out a little bit about construction in this area is this is way less rain than what I'm used to, frankly. Where I'm from in Texas, Preston, we get somewhere between 35 and 40 inches of rain a year. So you think of Texas as being dry, it's really wet, but you guys around 10 point something inches a year, not a lot of rain. But one thing that's interesting that I don't see on your houses, I don't see a lot of scuppers, even though we've got kind of flat roofs everywhere. What's going on with that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a combination of two things. One, scuppers, the aesthetics, right? It doesn't look. We don't like the look of these little waterfalls kind of launching all around. And two, like you said, it's not that much volume of water for us, but when it does come, it comes quick.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's horizontal as well.
I bet.
Which depth of patios matters. Good coverage over exposed areas.
That's a great point here. We got like 10, 12 feet coverage for this big Anderson door.
Yeah.
So we got plenty of coverage. I also want to say nice job on sill pans everywhere. I'm seeing you guys are using a white flexible flashing for your sill pans everywhere. Yeah. And then this looks like a roof drain. Is that what I'm seeing here?
So yeah, well this is actually a deck drain. It's very similar to a roof drain, but yep, there's not an overflow on these. Well, unlike the roof drains actually have a combo unit, so there's an overflow on those.
Gotcha.
But yeah, these just make for, we do a finished paver deck, so we don't do like more of an applied, like a liquid applied.
Okay.
So it's a liquid applied waterproofing, but then we'll put a finished paver over top of it.
Whose liquid applied is this? Do you know?
This is a Tremco product on here.
Cool.
Yep.
Good manufacturer.
Yeah.
And so I got to tell you, when I first started doing roof drains, I was a little freaked out about this hole through my waterproofing membrane. Yeah. But then when I realized, the plumber is actually usually, or not usually, is making those connections on those roof drains. Plumbers are used to watertight connections.
Right.
It actually makes me go, that actually makes more sense than putting a hole in this wall right here and having to do all this 3D correct flashing to get that hole in the wall to not leak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, everything ends up getting put under test, and it's a pretty solid system.
Yeah, I like it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's keep going inside, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right, let's talk about this real quick. This is different, I like it. You're doing open cell foam in the walls, but you're doing blown in on interior walls. What's the purpose of this?
Yeah, well, back to the mechanical side, it's really for conditioning, right? So just really controlling each zone.
Okay.
And then it's a huge for noise.
Yeah, it's good for sound, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So isolating that.
I think a lot of people think that open cell foam will do a good job of noise control, and it really doesn't.
Right.
Whereas this big fluffy bomb right here is going to really keep that noise knocked down between rooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting to see LVLs in this location. What's the use of the LVL studs here for?
So here, this is actually an elevator shaft. So yeah, real long, tall, 3 stories. So just straightness and trying to keep everything.
Really long framing.
Yep. Exactly.
Also want to point out, good job on getting your handrail blocking in.
Yeah.
Your finished carpenter's going to be real happy about that.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good project manager builder right there putting all that in.
Yep.
I like seeing that. This is pretty framing work. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Also want to point out too, all of your duct, all your HVAC systems within the conditioned envelope. Best practice no matter where you are in the country, whether you're in Arizona or Texas or Minnesota, you always want that stuff to be inside the conditioned envelope. So we've got a traditional upflow system here. It's going to go up into these ducts. The insulation's above us. I really like seeing that. And then I'm assuming we're transitioning back to some bedroom space. Oh, this looks like the upstairs laundry like we saw in your model.
Yeah. Yep.
Check this out, a good recessed dryer box.
Yep.
So that gets recessed. And then, ooh, we got some mechanicals in here. Fresh air, I'm assuming?
Yep, ERV.
Who makes that a ERV?
This is a Panasonic one.
That's great.
So, yep.
And this looks like an access door, so you'll be able to get in there and change those filters.
Exactly.
Do you have some team members that are actually doing maintenance on houses, changing those filters and getting in to make sure everything's maintained on your houses?
We do, yeah. So we have a whole concierge team, and it's anything from filters, adding salt to softeners. I mean, it's anything in between too. I mean, we've got some clients that's like, hey, they want us to you know, make sure their car is washed before they come in town. It's pretty extensive. It's an a la carte thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many of your clients are taking advantage of that service?
You know, on a percentage, I don't know though exactly, but it's a lot.
It's up there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are just, you know, hands free and just want us to just handle it, and yeah, I would say probably well over 75%.
As big as you guys are and as many homes as you've built over the last 40 years, that's probably a pretty decent sized team for y'all.
Yeah.
Well, good to see one under construction. I'd actually like to transition. Do you have something in this neighborhood that's maybe in more of the finished stage?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just down the street. So
Let's walk down the street. Oh man, Preston. Look at this design. This looks amazing. Holy cow.
right, yeah. Speaking of design, actually, Matt, let me introduce you to Dan.
Dan, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you,
So
man.
you are the VP of design. You are the head guru on the design side.
Yeah, I'm running the design team at Cullum Homes.
And you're an architect as well, Dan, like
I am.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Awesome. Talk us through what's going on here. I mean, this is super cool.
Yeah, so here we have the view lift elevator.
Okay, so
I believe you saw one before.
the same one as before,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this version actually has the glass panels rather than the acrylic.
So probably a little bit more expensive.
Little bit more expensive. Also a little bit more careful touch when we're installing. Again,
Yeah.
they come in at the end.
Yep.
The tricky thing about the glass panels is they're sized exactly.
Mm-hmm.
With the acrylic, there's a little bit of freedom to, you know, you can trim a little bit of acrylic.
All right.
Glass,
There's no
we got to
trimming.
get it right on the first shot. So
Look at this Viewrail collection, man. This is beautiful. This is their flight system, right?
yeah, this is their flight mono. Yeah, I think it frames the glass elevator perfectly.
just kind of wraps around. And this is a big 3-story opening here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we're going from here all the way up probably about 36 feet.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now these are temp treads, but I gotta say they look pretty cool. If I was building an industrial house, I might want these as the real treads.
They could, but Viewrail has a great offering of the stain treads that they do.
Uh-huh.
And they've been working with us on all of our homes to custom match the stain.
Yeah.
One great thing about working with Viewrail is the fact that they're willing to go the extra mile to get it right. So,
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And so do they actually provide these temp treads?
Yeah, they brought these temp treads with them. They shipped it with the steel.
Wow.
So that we can set up and get going right away.
And you can see they're routed in, so they're all perfectly mated. They're probably even pre-drilled and everything.
Yeah, this way they can size and get the heights, because they do have a little bit of flexibility on heights where they put the brackets on the stringers to get that right into code. So
that's beautiful. Yeah, my inspector does not mess around with his
Nope.
checking my stairs and making sure they're really, really precise.
Yeah.
So awfully nice to have somebody besides a local welder doing this on site.
Yeah.
Which you guys have done in the past, haven't you?
We have, yeah. Over at the model down there, we did a welded unit. Challenges with that, like once we had the foyer together, we actually had to crane the steel in through the roof, and here we could put it together in situ. So
yeah, it's an erector set.
Yeah,
just like we talked about for this.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat. I love it. Now this temp rail though, your construction team, Preston's team, puts this together. I like this, man.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's a great safety set. And then you won't put the finished treads in until the floors are in, until you're probably closer to the
Yeah,
very end
we'll
of
probably
construction.
put those in right before the glass. Yeah, we want those one of the last things so that they don't get marked up.
I actually saw a really fun interview between Stephanie Daly and Lindsay at the Viewrail booth at the International Builder Show this past year. They got all kinds of stuff these days. Like, this is one of their very first products they came out with, but they got a bunch of stuff. Are you guys using some of their future cool stuff on your projects?
Yeah, we have slated out probably about, I want to say 18 projects with them over these next 2 years.
They got a lot coming up.
All of their offerings. They got an updated mono stringer that they're doing. I'm not sure the name they came out. I think it's mono slimline.
Okay.
We've got cantilever stairs from them.
Cool.
We've got their stack system where they lit the treads literally sit on top.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, we're doing glass rail with them. We're doing, onyx rod rail, all sorts. Yeah.
So as a designer, you've got a lot of flexibility. Those guys is what I'm hearing. And as a builder, I can tell you they're really easy to work with because everything I need comes on site. I'm not dealing with 3 or 4 different trades between a separate glass guy to put the glass in later, a separate welder, a separate woodworker. It's all done at the factory, and man, beautiful when it's all finished.
Streamlining the process just makes everything easier. I mean, on our end and on the construction end.
So I got to ask you a question. As a long-standing design build firm, what's it like for you as a designer? You've got a pretty big team. I was flipping through some plans earlier of yours. You guys do a very complete construction set.
Thank you.
Very impressive. How many folks are underneath you on your design side?
Yeah, right now we have 14 members of the design team. One of them is actually our project coordinator, handles all the schedules of all the clients and the designers.
That's wild.
Yeah. Split kind of half and half between people that focus on the architecture side and interior side.
Yeah. Now, something that's really different about you guys, though, is you're doing furniture, you're doing interiors, everything's in-house. There's no separate, go hire this consultant or that person. Everything's under your roof, underneath you. What does that do for you as a designer?
Really what it does is it allows us to get the client the best experience. As soon as you compartmentalize and go through different design firms or designers, there's different opinions coming in. And usually it's after, like, for example, after you get the architecture set, it gets sent to the interiors and you don't really have that connection anymore.
Yeah.
And they don't have the ability to modify anything that's already been done.
Right.
Whereas here, we work right from the start with our interiors. So if they have an idea that they want to push forward, we can adjust the architecture, the space planning to accommodate. Yeah.
Let's walk up the stairs. I want to ask you another question that I'm curious about. It seems to me like you and Preston really have a good relationship. You're working out of the same office. That's different than a lot of architecture and construction kind of relationships, isn't it?
Absolutely. I couldn't tell you how much benefit and information we get from being able to work side by side with all the site supers. Every project we do, we have multiple reviews with them with the full drawing set. Sit down, go through everything. They can ask us questions on details that aren't as clear, where we need more detail. We'll go back in and draw more detail for them. They'll come up with suggestions of details that done in the field that didn't quite work out the way that we thought, and give us feedback on like how we can adjust them. And yeah, it's totally collaborative.
That's fabulous. Did I hear that you guys had a meeting on site with your entire team at one of your projects? Was that construction and design there?
Yeah, actually, every project we do, we have multiple on-site meetings. One of them being the pre-installation.
Okay.
We do a box and bar walk prior to that when all the rough electric's in but not wired together. That way the designers, sometimes if we have a client, they get invited as well. All the supers can come out and we can kind of look at where things are sitting in real life and be like, this is exactly what we expected, or let's shift this. We had this truss in the way. Let's split that light into two. And,
man, that's so good.
Yeah. So we
what's up with the colored tape ribbons I'm seeing on everybody on that footage? What's happening with that?
Yeah. One of the final walks we do as an entire team, design, construction, project managers, we all come to the job usually around 6 weeks till reveal when the client's given the home, and we'll do our polish walk. And we have 3 or 4 different colors of tape to signify issues with millwork, drywall, paint, general. And we'll go around the house and tag everything we see, send the super notes and let them know. And then they can start from there and take off all those punch things.
That's fabulous.
Yeah,
man.
Great.
Amazing work. Dan, so fun to meet you.
Thank you.
The rest of the Cullum team, man, you guys do an amazing job. Really fun to see this fully integrated under one roof. And to see the amount, I can only imagine how delighted your clients are when they're moving into a fully finished house. You guys did everything turnkey for them. Plus, you've got the concierge service to maintain that house afterwards. This is a really fun trip to Scottsdale. And of course, it's absolutely beautiful here. The desert scenery, I didn't grow up in the desert. I don't think of it as pretty, but then you come and you're like, wow, this is not what I expected. This is amazing. The scenes, the bluffs, the greenery, the golf courses. Wow.
Yeah, I feel you. I didn't grow up in the desert either, but now that I'm here, I love every bit of it.
Yeah, it's really nice. Guys, I'll put a link to Cullum in the description. If you're in the Scottsdale area, you should absolutely come by and see these guys. They've got how many developments going on as we publish this? 2 right now, right?
2 that are currently active, 3 that we actually just closed out.
Okay.
All in the last
But they also do custom on your lot, like the mountaintop job that we visited. So amazing custom builder here in Scottsdale. Stay tuned for our next episode. You know, we're crisscrossing the country to see how different it is to build a house in the desert, to build a house in a cold, snowy northern environment. We're gonna be going to the coast. There's all kinds of fun things. This is the Build Across America series. We'll see you next time on The Build Show.